Good day, and welcome to another episode of The Nature of Healing. This week, we're talking about food, a pay what you can food stand, how that helps community, and we're going to have some discussion and some input from Stephanie Thauer. She is the owner and farmer of RainTree Farms. She is working in conjunction with the Erie farmers in Erie County, Pennsylvania and Crawford County, Pennsylvania. She's also working with Stephanie Ciner, who is the owner and the farmer of Wildfield Urban Farms in Erie, Pennsylvania. The two of them have, the last few years, grown what we're calling the Pay What You Can food stand. Now, the Pay What You Can food stand was a thought, a dream by both Stephanie Thauer and Stephanie Ciner, to help break down all of the barriers that are in place for people to get fresh, local food, for people to get food that is whole, that hasn't been processed, to help out farmers to get that food to people that really, really need it, to remove all the barriers that are caused by lack of transportation or lack of money or all of that to get really fresh foods. Also, just lack of accessibility for people. No matter whether you're living in a small town setting or you're living in a city setting or an urban setting, there are barriers. Maybe you don't have any land of your own to grow your own food. Maybe you don't know how to grow your own food. Maybe there's nothing in your area that has anything but a Dollar General that's within walking distance where you could get food that's not processed, that your body can actually take care of and use in a beautiful, wonderful way. We know that fresh food aids in our health. We help the community by bringing together local farmers and people that are doing this kind of work to help them take care of their own families. So not only do we have a health thing involved, we have a community, and community helping community is absolutely unbelievable in terms of healing. A little background for me and how this, I even started to become a participant in this Pay What You Can food stand. About a year ago, there was a little ad, and I've known Stephanie Thauer because she's part of my local community, and we've run into each other on and off. She and her husband have a little farm where they have blueberries and lots of different vegetables, and also honeybees and honey hives, and she does a lot of education in the community with those things and going to different places. And we were at a couple of her lectures and her demonstrations, and she's also a great advocate for things like solar energy and sustainable solar energy that does not hurt the environment but actually feeds back into the community, and how we can do that without damaging our local resources, our local land, and how that helps bring people together and how we can actually help each other live. So I saw a little ad that she had put out about helping at a Pay What You Can food stand that was in Erie. It's at 15th and Parade. That's the first one that came about. And it was an amazing experience. People from the area that could get there, a lot of them walked. There weren't very many that drove. And some people had never seen different vegetables before. They didn't know what a raspberry was or a blueberry. Some came specifically because they knew they would have things like cabbages or different types of potatoes, or, because Erie is also a place where many immigrants settle, because we do have a USCRI in Erie. So a lot of the local immigrants would come and they were like, well, I need this kind of food or that. because that's the kind of food they were used to eating, and they could find it fresh there. And the variety of whole foods helps lower our risk of chronic disease, lowers our risk of diabetes and heart disease, gives us extra fiber and extra vitamins and minerals. The taste is more vibrant than processed food. Yeah, processed food has that little extra edge what makes us keep wanting to eat it. And yet, a nice, fully ripened natural vegetable or fruit is bursting with flavor. And watching these people, some of them knew what they were getting, some of them had never seen it before. They had little samples, they'd let them taste what they could right there, especially of the fruits that didn't have to be cooked or anything like that. And it was just a humbling and amazing experience to witness people coming together around food and being able to take food back to their families for pennies when they only had pennies. I witnessed people coming with just tiny, like a little purse full of pennies and nickels, whatever they were able to scrounge up, to basically trade for their food. I saw other people come and give 3 times the amount of what was asked, knowing that those people with just the pennies or not even pennies were able to come and get the fresh food that was necessary to keep them and their family healthy. It was absolutely beautiful experience. Fast forward a few months, and Stephanie came to me with the prospect of Unity here in Edinburgh, housing and supporting one of the Pay What You Can food stands. So we did that. We set up a tent out front every Monday. We have whatever fresh is available. There is a market down the road that offers us whatever is not going to last through the next week. And people come and they get what they need. There was a few stories where people come with their bags and they get enough for an entire week for themselves when they're out of work, or there's a disability issue, or they're just having a hard time, and they're able to get that for nothing. And then somebody else comes and they have the means, they pick up fresh what they would like to keep themselves healthy for the week, and they leave money-wise much more than what is asked for, so that we can go back to the farmers and purchase more for the following week to have on the table. We decided to try to keep it open for winter, and we were able to source from a farm for some dried goods, from beans and oats and lentils, and we got some peanut butter and peanuts and all the dry goods, rice. And Stephanie is great with sourcing from farmers that have greenhouses, so we did have some fresh. We had a lot of potatoes and squashes and things that last longer through the winter. And it expanded a little bit to where people brought in items for sanitary care and brushing your teeth and washing your hair. And now we have a little bowl and a little setup for people to get items for their sanitary needs and cleanliness, and sanitary pads, which are ridiculously expensive, and people can come and get that as well. And that was forefronted by community members who saw the need and what was happening, saying, I know that people that are coming here for food probably don't have enough money for shampoo either. And so that has manifested through the community. Community members now come and sometimes some of them make food for each other. So when people come on a Monday to pick up food from the stand, they can also sit down and have a cup of coffee or a cup of soup, and maybe a piece of pie or a slice of cantaloupe, and they talk with each other, and they decided it's almost like this tiny little Monday community forming, and it's absolutely beautiful. And people that seemingly don't have a lot are the ones that are giving of their hearts so much to make sure others have a comfortable space. So I've asked, Stephanie and I have sat down several times to try to record what it is exactly this Pay What You canned food stand is all about. And um, we decided to make it a little bit more organic. So one day we were talking and I clicked on record to catch her voice. And I asked a couple questions just to keep the conversation going, to get some other information for you and for you all to hear her voice and how passionate she is about making sure that food is accessible, that people do not go without what makes them and what keeps them healthy, that farmers have a way of connecting with people, that the farmers that she's created relationship with, most of them are very small farmers, and there's a healthier environment there. The way they farm, they bring those fresh foods, or we're able to purchase from them. There are people in the community that have their own small little patches. They're starting to bring us their extras so that we can share with the rest of the community. It's a stronger, healthier environment for our bodies, for our interaction with each other, for a stronger economy, because the money does get put right back in. All the people that have been working the stand do it totally out of service and love. They're not getting paid for that. 100% of the money that Unity in Edinburgh has brought in, none of it Unity has kept. It has all gone back into the stand to purchase food, to make sure that there's a space both inside and out for the stand to keep going. The use of our refrigerator to keep frozen blueberries from getting stale, and to keep local eggs chilled for market. It's just absolutely beautiful what has been happening. I can't even stress enough how much one little dream, like making sure people have the food that they need, has grown to this organization. They're starting to look, and they have help now from what's called FPAC in Erie. It's called Erie FPAC, and they take care of people that are interested in food culture, food access, regional farming, urban farming, and they've started to help them on an organizational level and on a managerial level to keep all of that, because now there's 4 stands that are communicating with each other and moving food from one to the other, and making sure that that it's distributed in the region in a way that sustains people's health. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm going to share with you some words. It's about 11 minutes long from Stephanie herself about the project, and then I'll come back in at the end and offer some other thoughts. But thank you for listening and for sharing this journey. And if you want to be part of the journey at all, please reach out. There's always room for food sponsors, for monetary sponsors, for people to man the stands, for people to, we always need things like paper bags or reusable bags to help people carry the food with them. We've had some people donate recipe books and recipe magazines so that people know how to process and use the food. Towards the end of the summer season and into fall, we always need help with drying and processing any extras so that they can be still given to people in the forms of sauces or dried vegetables, and so they can still be used and we're not wasting anything that we have. Set up and tear down are always important. Just having a friendly face when people come to pick out their food, or those that would, especially for the Unity in Edinburgh here, those that would like to maybe make a lunch to share with others when they come in, or be that person of contact and smiles for people that would like to come down and just have a cup of coffee. We have families that come in. One of my favorite stories is when a family came in real towards the end of our time, and you could tell they had just had it that week. That the parents were tired, the kids were hungry. They came in on a whim. They saw a sign. It turns out that they were in incredible need. They really needed food that week. There had been a couple of things that happened with the family, and they were really low on food, so they were able to get that. And then we had some soup that week that somebody had made, some soup and some bread and some desserts, and that family was able to eat a meal while they were here, um, and just settle a little bit. The parents were able to relax just a tiny bit, and then they were off. And to just have the space for that to happen, there's so much gratitude, and so much gratitude for both Stephanie's for stepping forward and even starting this project. So what you're going to hear now is Stephanie and her passion, and a little bit more about the stand and how it started and how it keeps going.
Like, I see myself facilitating these stands so that they can expand and be everywhere, but I can't be the one to run them all. Like, I think it's up to the communities to take that on, or different organizations within the community.
So it's like you have the guidebook
Right.
and offer the initial training.
Right. And even like the contact points for food, or even like, I mean, again, this is all in my head, but perhaps a food is acquired through, whoever the farmers are, and then that food is distributed to each of the locations. And that's why we've set it up so that there's one each day of the week. So here we're in Edinburgh on Mondays, Tuesdays Parade and 15th, Wednesdays 23rd and Parade, and Thursdays ECAT over on East Ave. So that way we're hitting multiple different neighborhoods, and then the food that is purchased can go from location to location.
So you need somebody to facilitate the movement of the food, though.
Right. And right now, I mean, we're doing that. Like, I'm acquiring food from out in the county and bringing it here, and then taking it into Parade Street. And then from there, the folks that are in the city helping out are distributing the food from there. But then Wildfield Urban Farm also acquires food from farmers at the Sisters St. Joseph Little Italy Farmers Market, which is on Mondays. So because she's already there, so she'll go to the different farmers and will ask to purchase their extras. And some people give us their extras. A lot of it's discounted, which is really nice.
I mean, discounted from the farms?
Yes. So they'll discount what they're giving, because it's their at end of the day produce. So if it's a way for them to make money on that extra produce, rather than them taking it home and it potentially going into the compost. So, or, being wasted. So it's a way to divert that waste. Or the extras, I should say. And it helps them make a little bit of extra money off of produce that they would be transporting back home.
So it's a win-win.
It is. Because that's, I mean, really the idea here is to be able to support all facets of community and the food system, our local food system, acquiring produce from local farmers, grown locally, with the least amount of impact as possible on the land. So no spray. A lot of the farms that we deal with, they don't till, and they practice more sustainable or regenerative agriculture. Not everybody, and that's fine. We don't expect that, but it's nice to have that layer in there. And then, so the food gets purchased from the local farms and then it goes to the farm stands. And then we suggest a price on it based off of what we've purchased the food for. And then people pay what they're able to. So, and then there's donated produce in there as well. We have quite a few community members that have donated produce from everything from summer squashes to winter squashes, kale and tomatoes and other things. And that all goes back to the community directly. There's no charge for any of that. And then we have the brick and mortar here in town, Edinburgh Market, who donates their extra end of the week produce and food. And there's no charge for that, obviously, because it's all donated.
So what's the money used for that is paid at the stand?
Oh, it goes to buy more produce. Yeah, and everybody who's here helping out at the farm stand, I mean, it's all out of service. It's all volunteer work. So, yeah, any money that's collected goes right back to the purchase of more fresh local produce.
So how did the idea come about? Why did you even start this? What's the goal?
Well, my friend Steph Ciner and I, she's owns Wildfield Urban Farm in the city of Erie. Her and I were talking about ways to create a system that removed barriers or access to fresh local food. Because a lot of times you go to a farmer's market and I mean, while, you know, it's a lot of work to all the layers that go into growing food and then getting it to market and the cost of the market, um, you know, the cost can be challenging for people to purchase fresh produce. So we wanted to remove the barriers that exist. Cost is a major one. The other one is transportation. So that's kind of the idea of having markets around different parts of the city and then, you know, trying to expand it out into the county as well. And we looked at different models and we decided to pilot the pay what you can model, where people, you know, we suggest a price for the produce and people pay what they're able to. And it all balances out. Some people pay what we've asked, some people pay more, and some people don't pay anything. And it all seems to work out to where we're able to go back out and purchase more food from local farms.
Any success stories?
Success stories. Well, the model is working. We're coming into our fourth season. We've got 4 locations. We expanded out. We started with 1 and it's expanded to 4 different locations. And there's other people that are getting involved as far as, you know, whether it's starting the stands, donating produce. I've got people in the communities reaching out saying that they want to grow food specifically for this project, which is really wonderful. And it's a community builder, you know, at the stands, people gather, and they know it's happening, so they're there right away. And people talk, you know, they're talking about the different foods and how they use it, and people are asking questions. Barriers are being broken down that have kind of gone up in communities where everybody feels they have to be doing things individually, and we've stopped asking questions and having basic conversations with each other. And the produce is a way to, it seems like it's bringing people together. So the Penn State Behrend IBE capstone program, Steph and I were a sponsor for one of the groups. and they put together a data collection system for the farm stands, which is the spreadsheet that we've been using here. And then there's another sheet that we can plug information into, which we haven't started using yet. But they also put together a formal report of the work that they did and their findings, because they're business and engineering students. They had to go through a certain process to meet the criteria of the program. And they were able to figure out through this whole process whether a business model is sustainable or not. And it was determined that this pay what you can model is sustainable.
Wow, from business students.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I was holding my breath. I was like, you're gonna say it's not.
No, it is actually. And it was funny because we went Saturday for their presentation. All of the students had done their final presentations, and we were the only nonprofit, I'm doing the air quotes because we're not registered as a nonprofit, but we are doing nonprofit work. But we were the only nonprofit that was looked at. And it came as a surprise to it seems like a lot of the people there that this would be a sustainable model.
Well, but you're bringing in community, right? So community knows that it's helping community.
Right.
So even the people that don't have access to fresh food, but they have access to money, are paying. So the people that don't have access and don't have money don't need to.
Right.
And that alone.
Yeah, and it goes beyond money because it's also service.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have some concrete data that backs up what we're working on.
I have to tell you that it is a blessing for me each week to be able to spend just a little bit of time with Stephanie, even though, it's a little bit busy around the farm stand. We do get a few minutes here and there, like what you just heard, to talk and to chat and to check in on just the passion of helping community and helping each other get to that space of what is healthy for us, and how important it is for us to work together in that. And the work that both Stephanies are doing exemplify that beyond measure. If you are in the area of Edinburgh or Erie County and you would like to visit the farm stand and chat more, we would be so happy to see you and meet with you, and move maybe something like this forward in your own community, knowing that we can take care of each other. And it's possible. It's possible to do so, and it's possible to eat healthy and be healthy and get the nutrients we need from the land and the people around us when we are willing to share in that together, whether it's through service or growing or serving at the stand, or with the money that you have to share with others so that projects like this can keep going. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Nature of Healing this week. My name is Jen Shepard. The program is produced by Bolts of Love, and we will look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thank you.